Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel, September 19th, 2017. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of you are probably listening to all of the information on this Hurricane Maria. But about 15 minutes ago, I ended a phone conversation with a very good friend of mine who actually lives and works in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He's a crane operator at the port. We've known each other for more than 20 years. And we first started a conversation on Facebook, Messenger chat. And he was telling me about what is going on in Puerto Rico. And he was asking me about the current earthquake situation because he knows exactly what I investigate. And we've had the earthquake conversation before. And I said to him, well, let me give you a call and I'll pull the information up on my computer. So I did just that. And ladies and gentlemen, we all know what is happening right now in the Caribbean and what Puerto Rico's about to go through. But I want to first touch on this earthquake situation that is occurring in Puerto Rico. And there's a very, very high possibility that not too many people know about it, except for the people that live in Puerto Rico. Now you're looking at one of the earthquake maps. And you can see, ladies and gentlemen, in the North America region and also South America, and not all of the earthquakes are on here, but you can see a lot of activity. And anything you see in the red, that happened within the hour. Here we go again. Soda Springs, Idaho, 38 minutes ago. Magnitude 3.58. Again, they've been having these swarms of earthquakes in this region. And it is right below Yellowstone. And these are very, very shallow. 3.62. Very shallow. But what is also going on is California, once again. The earthquakes are actually picking up in frequency and magnitude. Had a short Facebook conversation with another individual who has a daughter who is in college. Right in this area, magnitude 3.61. He stated they felt that one. Most definitely. So as you can see, folks, there is quite a bit of activity. Another rare earthquake 4 hours ago in Illinois. Magnitude 3.8. Just under 12 kilometers deep. There's a lot of activity brewing once again right off the coast of Mexico. Magnitude 5.4. And listen, folks, if I pull up the Mexican seismology office for this area right here, it is polluted with these earthquakes over a magnitude 4. And also Ecuador 3 hours ago, multiple earthquakes again here in Chile. And again, folks, not all of the earthquakes are on this specific map. Iran, magnitude 5.1, multiple earthquakes occurring in the Solomon Islands. Now there is just one underneath that, a magnitude 5.3, and then a 4.9. And Alaska was literally on fire with earthquakes. And this is just the Aleutian Islands over here. If you spread the map over here, you can see what has happened. And it's going to continue to happen. So, getting back to my friend's situation there in Puerto Rico, I decided to give him a call and we looked at the earthquake situation. And what you're looking at here, folks, all of the earthquakes that are in white, all of the little white dots, these are all of the earthquakes within the last 30 days. The yellow, within the last week. And these ones right here in the yellow, these are within the last 24 hours. Okay, so as we're looking at Puerto Rico, he said to me, that can't be right. that information can't be right. He said, I'm telling you, the ground is shaking here every single day. And ladies and gentlemen, if you see where San Juan, Puerto Rico is, that's where he lives. Now, he also has a house in Miami and a small townhouse there in San Jose. He said that he thought he was going to lose his house when Hurricane Irma came through, but he didn't. Everything was pretty much okay. He has a small townhouse here in San Juan. Everybody on the north face of the island, they know what's coming, and people are very, very scared. He also elaborated and told me that people have been coming in from the islands, and we're going to just pull this over here. Some of these islands that were just, pretty well battered during Hurricane Irma. And he said it's almost reminiscent of being in Miami and watching Cuban refugees on rafts coming into the beaches of South Florida, fleeing their country. Ladies and gentlemen, have we gotten to this point where we cannot take Navy vessels, ships, cargo ships, and get these people off of these islands? He told me the situation in Puerto Rico is dire, and they know that they are going to deal with a very, very high surge of water. The storm surge is going to come in, and it is going to literally blanket the whole entire north coast of Puerto Rico. But getting into the earthquake situation again, from what he's telling me, a lot of earthquakes are occurring on the island. On the island. I only see a few that are listed here within 30 days. Magnitude 3, magnitude 2.5, 2.7, 2.5. Listen, folks, it takes a little bit of a bigger earthquake, really, for people to really feel it under their feet, within their homes. And from what he's telling me, it's almost become a daily occurrence. Why aren't we hearing about this, and why isn't the information up there? Obviously, people living there on the island are probably used to it by now, but from what he's been telling me, that the earthquake activity has really, really peaked over the past month. So what exactly is going on in Puerto Rico? We know they're about to be completely squashed by this Hurricane Maria. But what is happening with the earthquake situation there? Not being reported. Really starts to make you wonder, ladies and gentlemen, what exactly is going on out there. And as you can see, we are having an earthquake situation right now. A good bit of this is coming from all of the coronal hole streams, the solar wind impacting the earth. We've had a lot of issues with the sun, and in about 10 days, we're going to be under the gun from that big sunspot. Once again, another sunspot making a rotation all the way around the sun. Huge activity, huge coronal discharges. So, the drama continues. From the sun, from the sea, from the air. It's coming at us from every single angle. So just a heads up. But, getting into looking at this storm, here's just one of the latest infrared models. You can see it is heading right for Puerto Rico. The islands leading up to Puerto Rico. You know, folks, I was just looking at some data, and it just doesn't even look good for any of these small islands. They have already been battered and beaten so bad. There's major crime, major looting, no electricity, barely cell phone service, no running water, no sewage, and now this. Category 5. Category 5 right now as we speak. You know, so I wanted to start looking at some of this information on the islands, and this was at 11 a.m., the position of Hurricane Maria, 126 mile an hour winds, going out a little bit more, 100, 121, moving into about 2 p.m. this afternoon. Yeah, clocking at 130. Yeah, they're definitely getting some winds. And as you can see, the way that the wind in this hurricane, it's rotation counterclockwise. You can see the strongest winds are always going to be on the north face of these hurricanes. And basically, they are going to beat the living hell out of this coastal area of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Moving into about 5 p.m. on the model here, you can see there hasn't been that much movement. Going into 8 p.m. again, the storm is kind of stalled right over these islands, 136 miles per hour. Let's see here. I know I saw 140. There's 139. So they're definitely going to be in some bad shape. At this particular time right there in San Juan, they're having winds at about 53 miles an hour. Whenever I finished my conversation with him, he said they were already experiencing winds at 40 miles an hour and gusts up to 60. He does work at a port. They do have all of this weather information. They do keep track of the wind. They are using cranes. So he definitely knows what he's talking about working in this region. I'm going to go ahead and run this model out a little bit, and we're going to go through the next couple of hours, and we'll see the storm track of Hurricane Maria as it enters San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is Wednesday, 2 a.m. You know, folks, this is going to be a bad thing for the people in San Juan to go through this in the nighttime. It's just going to create more problems with any type of emergency rescue. We're going to move into approximately 5 a.m. and right off the bat, you can see at 5 a.m. We're just going to go ahead and move in just a little bit more, get a better view. You're going to see right there pounding into the coast, steady, non-stop for at least 3 hours from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Wind speeds coming in at about 123 miles an hour. Coming down on this side of the island, this is going to probably take the worst brunt of Maria, 142 miles an hour. And I would guarantee anybody in any of these islands, I just don't even know what to say. They're going to be in probably the most danger that they've ever experienced in their entire lives. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. I wouldn't be surprised if the storm surge does some serious damage also. Very serious damage. But we're going to go ahead and move over to about 8 a.m. And you could see at this point right now, this is when San Juan's really going to take a beating, probably taking on a lot of damage at this point in time. You can see San Juan's right here. We'll put the cursor directly on the city dot. and they're going to have pretty well sustained winds at about 115 to probably 130 miles an hour. Moving out a little further here, 159 miles per hour. But that is off the coast a little bit. So worrying more about the coast, closer to the eye wall, 130, 140. It's going to be a serious situation. By 11 a.m. on Wednesday, you can see the situation is going to be dire. This model actually has the eye of the hurricane almost completely over San Juan, Puerto Rico. And look, folks, I've been to San Juan many, many times. Very, very heavily populated area. I don't even begin to try to think and imagine the damage that is going to occur there. It is a very, very sad situation. And if you were going to evacuate anywhere, like they did with Florida, you should have evacuated Puerto Rico and these outer islands. The Dominican Republic is also going to be hammered. Punta Cana, right here, a very touristy area, very beautiful area. But you can see they'll have winds already coming in at 45 miles per hour. This is just going to be a very bad situation. But progressing through, we'll go ahead and let this model run out and we'll see where the track ends. And the storm seems to take a little jog to the north, the northwest, and it actually gets it off of the island of Puerto Rico. Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, they may be spared the massive amount of wind, but they are definitely going to incur some storm surge. There's just absolutely no doubt about it. But it's a very mountainous region. Depending on the rain, they'll probably have a lot of localized flooding also. But you can see this is going to be moving right through the Bahamas once again. And I was hearing some information out of a lot of these islands that, you know, people are in dire straits. You know, we may see a lot of these so-called rescues by FEMA and the American Red Cross, but we're also hearing about a lot of horror stories, folks. You're not hearing too much of it on mainstream media, but man, you're hearing about it on Facebook and Twitter. And these are people that have experienced the wrath of Irma, and they are in these islands. They are in the Bahamas. Things are bad. These people are in bad shape. So these models kind of get, they kind of get a little off whenever they're predicted out so far in advance. And this storm can do anything at any time. I was trying to look at some of the wind currents, but, you know, ladies and gentlemen, just like with Irma, things change very, very rapidly with these wind currents because of our very erratic jet streams. The same thing is now occurring with Hurricane Jose. It will be a godsend when that tropical storm gets flushed out into the northern Atlantic. But some of these models are bringing this storm directly right up against the east coast of the United States once again. Where it goes, nobody knows. Not even these meteorologists, because they seem to be pretty stumped about what is happening in the Atlantic Ocean. But as I've said before, folks, I pre-warned everyone many, many months ago that this was going to occur. But I know I wasn't able to reach tens of millions of people. I wish I was. But as you can see, the wrath of the hurricane season in the Atlantic Ocean continues, and it's not going to stop. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a very big possibility that these storms are being driven and fed and directed. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Keep an eye to the sky. Prayers go out to everyone affected by all of these tragedies that are occurring. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching.